B, I got a very important question to ask you. What have you been jamming since the last episode?
Nothing. I got a few things, man. So we got what's this freaking song name, bro? What's her name? What's that woman name? She's married. She used to be married to old
Woman
dude. I can't
used to
think
be
of her
married to
name right
old
now.
dude. Boy, what type of person are
Amon
you
Shumpert,
describing right
bro.
now?
Amon
Oh, Tiana
Shumpert.
Taylor.
Teyana Taylor, bro. She dropped a single, bro, called Escape Room. I liked
Hmm.
it. Like her vocally, I don't know. It's like Tiana is not saying she can't sing, but like her tone does it for me. Like,
Hmm.
she has like that deep voice and layered on this production. It gave me some of the vibes off her album. I can't think of the name of it with Kanye West. I like the vibe of this, you know what I'm saying? It's called Bed of Roses. It was a dope track. I don't know what her album's called. I think it's
Isn't
Escape
Aaron
Room.
Pierre? I think that's his name. Wasn't he the love interest in the music video or something like that?
Oh, I don't know. He could have been. I didn't watch the video.
Oh, okay, okay. Because
Yeah,
I heard
but I
the video was really good. That's
okay,
what I've
but
heard.
no, yeah, but the Bed of Roses, I like, yo, this song's dope, man. I like how she sounded. It's pretty short. I wish it was a little longer. I like the production on it. I'm like, man, hey, Tiana really don't miss, bro. Like her last few albums, I enjoyed. The last one was longer, but it had some joints in there. So I'm really excited for what she's gonna do on her next album, man. And I think her next album is called Escape Room. But I
Mhm.
like this. Short, but I wish give me one more minute and we can flesh out
Mhm.
that production. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? You could because even though it's shorter, like the second half of the song, it felt like she was just repeating the same, the hook or whatever.
Mhm.
But I was like, flesh it out a little bit, you know what I mean? Even though I
Mhm.
like the track. I like the track. But yeah,
I'm pretty sure
that's
her
a single.
performance was better in that than the Tyler Perry movie that she was recently in.
Did you watch it?
Sadly, I forgot to tell you about that in the how we doing
And
section.
I watched it too,
I
B.
Yeah, that movie was bad.
It was so
That
bad.
movie was bad.
Tyler Perry just make high production Tubi movies, bro. That's all he do.
Yeah. That's what he got that studio for, be in Atlanta.
Yup. Hey, bro, we need to go and
Oh
what you
man.
got, B? What you listen to?
First thing I got on the docket, I listened to Luther Vandross's self-titled album, which is the album that has excuse me, miss, like, let me take you out tonight, basically. And this is his self-titled album, so this came like in the early 2000s. And watching it, not the interview, but the documentary a few months ago that I talked about on here, I kind of wanted to get more into, like I said, some of the older R&B artists, kind of see like how R&B really got like revolutionized, how it evolved, and like seeing how like the older artists kind of panned out in the modern day during the contemporary era of R&B. And B.
Hmm.
And going to this album, you could tell that Luther is like, it's not that he's out of place with it, but you could definitely tell that he's a bit different, especially with the way he was in R&B versus how R&B at that time was as well, because
Hmm.
not like that, but not a lot of people was as vocally gifted as Luther during that time. And that boy Luther can sing. So hearing him on certain instrumentals and tracks like the ones off of his self-titled album, I was like, I gotta give this a few more listens, but I don't know if this sits right fully with me. Like I like Luther on the more somber, mellow type of instrumentals to let his vocals really shine versus like the instrumentals that he had on Luther Vandross, which there was some good songs on there. I'm not saying that this was a bad album or anything, but I just think that it was a bit jarring because it was a way different sound to what compared to what I'm used to hearing Luther on himself. But obviously, like a song like "Take You Out," classic within the culture,
Hmm.
obviously. So I'm never gonna deny that. And there was some songs in here I'm like, okay, I'm really bumping and I'm grooving, but I don't know. It was, I guess the best, yeah, it had to be jarring for me because it was like I'm not used to it and I gotta kind of get used to it. And then this is also the era of like someone from like the 80s, 70s or
Hmm.
whatever coming into the modern time. So it was like you kind of got to get adjusted. And I know to me, like I talked about like in the last episode what we've been jamming. Listen to that Invincible album, hearing Michael come into more modern times. I feel like Michael made a great transition because he was always keeping up to date with like the latest sounds within the culture itself. But yeah, Luther Vandross is self-titled. I enjoyed it enough, but I had to give it a few more listens to really see what my thoughts were on like how I feel about the album as a whole. But yeah, B, what's your next album?
Man, a good thing that you mentioned is a a period of an artist that been out, in a different generation,
Hmm.
coming into a modern generation. It's kind of like it's eye opening to see how they adjust and like transition
Hmm.
into it.
Hmm.
Like it brought me up an idea of like it made me think of an idea of like what's gonna happen once you got Drake, Kendrick, like in hip hop, all the J. Cole and all those guys when they transition into another in a more modern, sense of music or hip hop. I don't know, it's
Hmm.
gonna be weird. I want to see how they're
I feel
gonna
like
adjust.
Drake is the only one that's kind of done that. And we could talk about that later because Dom made a
Mm,
point like that in one of his videos from Potty Mouth. Shout out to them.
mm,
But I feel like Drake is the only one that's kind of like went with the trends of
mm.
sounds in hip hop versus J. Cole self-produces for himself, kind of gets beats that no one else really does, and so does Kendrick Lamar himself. So yeah.
But we can talk about it. But I have a like I don't think they're out of the times. You get what I mean?
No, no, I agree with you, but
Hmm.
I guess my thing was like, I
It's
I,
like I'm
I
talking
get
about
what you mean.
drastic. Yeah, yeah.
Oh, you mean like drastic
A
changes? I
drastic
guess my thing
shift
is
because
like,
because you think where
would you?
Michael Jackson, where Luther and them come from, and then going
Uh-huh.
into like what modern R&B was in the early 2000s. It's totally
Hmm.
to me it's a total different
Okay,
situation.
yeah, I agree
It's
with
like
you.
if Slick Rick, you know how you felt about the Slick Rick album?
Hmm.
Him coming in, he couldn't come into like like picture if
Hmm.
he tried to come into modern times and like it's more of a transition. Like I think right now it's hard. It's hard for them, but I feel like we need a few more years, maybe 10 years for Drake and Kendrick, in my opinion, and like
Hmm.
J. Cole's, because I feel like they still have that lane of their own right now, and people
Hmm.
still mimic them. Are like come from the blog era a little bit. I don't think it's too far removed in modern hip hop right now that them guys would be left behind. But I get what you're saying about Drake because he hops on with newer artists or like a
Hmm.
new trend or something like that. I get that. But
Yeah.
my next project is gonna be by Kevin Abstract Blush. I jammed this once. If anybody familiar with Kevin Abstract, he's like he produced, he writes, he raps, and on this project I guess the cover, I was trying to look at this cover. He has a hoodie on, he has pajama pants on. He's like in a library and he got his headphones on and he's covered. And I'm like, what's the meaning of this cover? And I was trying to figure out like why he do this. This cover means nothing. But
Hmm.
anyways, the album is full of collaborations. There's no track on here when it's Kevin by himself. I don't know if Love Spells is a producer, but he's on like he or she are on a good amount of songs. You got JPEG Mafia on here. He's back collaborating with Amir Van. I don't remember he got kicked out the group of Brockhampton over some I think it was some some sexual allegations going on with him. But you got Danny Brown on here. So you got Dominic Fike. So I'm thinking that he just put this world and used all these artists and different producers and himself as like I guess the instruments, the focus of this project. Because it kind of felt like he fell to the background. I don't even remember. I don't know if he changed up his rapping or like his vocally, because he does a lot of melodic things. He has a song like No, I think it's Nola, that's like more high tempoed, but most of this project is kind of low. The production is like experimental,
Hmm.
R&B, hip hop, all that mixed. And it didn't really stand out to me in his discography because not saying it's like it's the same thing that you really get from him. Like he's
Hmm.
not bad. Like he's not like a super bad rapper. Like you could tell that he has a lot of inspiration from like Kanye West and a lot of those alternative guys. And the song H Town was pretty cool because he's from the Houston area, like he's from Texas. So like them having the little H Town references and stuff like that was pretty dope. And I like the song Geezer with him and Dominic Fike. It's pretty cool. It kind of gave me like this early 2000 vibe with the production on that. But I don't know. I don't know.
Was it boring, B?
It was cool, but yeah. So Kevin Abstract Blush. I don't know, B. It's not boring, but it's like
Hmm.
it's the same story. And it's not like he's not pushing the genre or anything because he's a really creative artist. And like I'll
Hmm.
never take it away from him. But it just sometimes it's like what's the word I'm looking for? Not even a word. I'm not being mean or nothing because there's nothing really mean to say, but it's kind of like, because it's a bad thing. Because I hate judging people music like this because it's like, dang, if I try something different, or am I already trying something different and I'm continue to do that, but I don't know. How could I say this? Because
The
like
best way it sounds
it's
like is that he's coasting. It's like, I've already been here. I've done that. And yes, you are different from your contemporaries,
mhm.
but you've already kind of done this. It's like,
Yeah, it's like it's just how it feel for me, and it's kind of sucks because what do you tell an artist that's always doing something a little different, and he continue to do that, but even though it's in the same vein of what he does, but he's not doing the typical stuff that you hear on the radio or something like that. But it's like,
mhm,
dang, like I just want to give him room to just do his thing, bro. So I'm not trying to hold that back from him, but it's just like for me, it just didn't do much for me. That's all I
mhm,
say. But I feel like he kind of wanted to display more of the collaborators. He gave them more shine because like on like his probably my favorite project from him was American, what's it called, American Boyfriend or something like that. That's called American Boyfriend or whatever. I actually like that story and that concept from that and him being, I think that's like around the time he came out, as a gay man, you know what I'm saying? He just
mhm.
talk about all this stuff of, him being in high school and blah, blah, blah. All that type of stuff. I liked it. I was all right, this is cool. This is dope. But I don't know for this one, I don't know. Didn't really do it for me. Maybe I had to listen to a few more listens to it because it wasn't bad, B. That's what I'm saying. It wasn't bad. It just was like, eh. So, I'm sorry, Kevin. If you see this, bro, I'm not trying to say that you're boring or that you're not pushing the boundary because you are creative, bro. You are a talented guy. So yeah, if any guys want to check out Kevin Abstract, check him out. He's pretty dope. He makes dope stuff, man. But sometimes dope is, I don't know. It's like I can't say do something different because that's just he does do things different, but it's just still
Uh-huh.
in his vein. You know what I mean? It's just weird.
Mhm.
I'm gonna just see. That's why I didn't really want to talk about it because I hate having this. I'm like, damn, I don't want to have this as a critique of someone
Mhm.
actually pushing the boundaries, but also it's like, bro, you still doing the same. You still trying to do this. I don't know. It's kind of
Mhm.
like JPEG Mafia in a way. Like JPEG Mafia, like I do different. I do different things, but it's like, bro,
Mhm.
but you always do different things and you try all this quirky stuff. Sometimes it works, sometimes it don't. But it's like, all right, I know what I'm about to get.
Mhm.
But at the same time, if it's not broke, don't fix it. It's just, I don't know, bro. It's hard sometimes to critique certain type of music,
Yeah.
Because we could be at Future and be like, okay, we know what we finna get from Future. And I could say something like, if the Future need to grow, or people saying, oh, Drake need a new, we done listening to Drake. Drake could have put out the same album, blah, blah, blah. But it's like, we do still need Drake.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? We still
Yeah.
need Future.
Mhm.
So, we need Kendrick.
I
We
think my
need these
thing is
guys.
like whatever you're doing, hone in on it and strengthen
Mhm.
it more. Don't
Yeah.
try and like, okay, I'm working on this. Okay, let me pivot and do something different now. Something
Yeah.
different from this rather than mastering this and giving you a very more
Very,
honed
yeah.
in version of this.
Because I
Yeah.
could be missing some in this album because I only listened to it once. So, it's not a review. It's just my first thoughts on it. So maybe when I go back, I'll maybe catch different things. But not saying it was a bad listen at all. It just was like,
Hmm.
I don't know. I'm just not feeling anything that's separating you from your other work. That's it.
Kevin, please excuse my co-host. He is very ignorant on the chord progressions, the synths that you probably
Oh,
use.
nah. Oh, yeah.
Please don't come at him for that,
I
please.
was big on all that, though. That was dope. Hey,
Mhm.
I feel it. You know what I'm saying? I feel it. What's your next project, B?
My next project. Shout out to the tastemaker himself, RB Reyes. He saw this whole week, at least last week, everybody was kind of getting into a feud over the R&B list that was happening. Michael Jackson was on there as number three. People was like, "Oh, Michael Jackson doesn't make R&B." But then one of the pages, R&B Radar and RB Reyes, they was both talking about how Invincible was a really good R&B project from Michael Jackson. And obviously, last week or the week before, I think I talked about Invincible, and RB Reyes said, "Oh, you literally just talked about Invincible." I don't know if you listen to Prince. Let me give you some recommendations. And so he gave me some recommendations. Obviously, I haven't went through all of them, but I did go through one. It was from Prince, like I said. And the first one I listened to was Musicology. He said, "Bro, I know you're gonna like this one. Like I bet
Hmm.
you're gonna like this one. Listen to Musicology by Prince." And this is an album that came out like in 2004, I think, or early 2000s, right?
Hmm.
And my thing is this, right? When it comes to Prince, I'm not opposed to Prince. I never got the Michael Jackson versus Prince comparisons
Hmm.
personally because growing up, I never really heard Prince like that until I became a teenager and I got more into music. And I'd only see this discourse online. Like I never heard people
Hmm.
talk about Prince in real life. Like not
You
to
what?
slight Prince, not to slight Prince. I've never heard people talk about, especially people my age group be, people wasn't talking about no Prince in my surrounding area, right?
Hmm.
I come from a very close-minded background, guys. I'm not gonna lie to
Hmm.
you in terms of like where I grew up in high school and stuff like that. But yes, Prince has big songs. Yes, Prince is an icon, especially within black culture. I've never heard the comparisons, and me personally, I never got the comparisons. Like I'm just like I've never heard people talk about Prince like people talk about Mike. Like this is like to me, I'm like these are two different ball games happening right here. And so I heard Purple Rain years ago, but last year I did a re-listen to it, and I think I talked about it on what we've been jamming
Hmm.
here. I liked it. I thought it was cool, especially as a soundtrack project. So I had to grade it a bit differently because this was made for a soundtrack of the same movie name. And so I go into this house musicology, and Prince gave me some vibes that I really do enjoy. He gave me them funk soul vibes that you would kind of get from like 80s, 70s,
Hmm.
like funk soul black music basically. And some of the ways he would write music on this actual album itself, I was like, all right, I dig the songwriting. I dig the sonics that you're giving me on here. And it was one cut on this album where it was like super like modern R&B infused. I'm like,
Hmm.
ooh, dang, I forgot the name of it. But I was like, ooh, and I'm like, going through this album, I think the song was called, was it A Million Days or was it Call My Name? I forgot the name of the song.
Call My
But
Name is like
man,
one of the popular songs on there.
okay, I really liked it. I mean, I liked the whole album overall, and it wasn't too long of a listen. 12 songs, 47 minutes.
Hmm.
Obviously, this was a different era, but the songs felt fully fleshed out. They felt like
Hmm.
good songs. They felt like whole songs. I didn't leave there feeling incomplete on the album itself. But obviously, this was a different time, and this is a musical genius that Prince is. But going over this album, it's made me want to listen to more Prince albums because, like I said, growing up, no one really talked about Prince like that. Like I'm not trying to slight him. B. I'm not trying to. I know this is blasphemous
I
of me
think
to
you got to
say.
say, growing up, people around you didn't talk about Prince.
Yeah, people around me. That's why I said when I got into music and I got online, like on online
Hmm.
discourse, that's when I started seeing like Prince stuff. And I'm like, I've never heard people talk about Prince in real life around me in my surrounding area.
Yeah,
Like
I
Michael
don't think
Jackson, that was a different. That was like everybody was Michael Jackson out. So.
because my thing is in our age group, like you're not gonna hear about Prince. You're not even gonna hear about Michael Jackson. You know what I'm saying? You just gonna know who Michael Jackson is. But musically, you
Hmm.
gotta be around people that actually love music, that even people that, they know the hits. They know the Prince
Hmm.
hits, they know the Michael Jackson hits. Michael Jackson's the biggest pop star ever. But when you talk to actual people that love music, Prince is gonna pop up. And when you talk about the Prince and Michael Jackson comparison, it was more about like the aesthetics.
Hmm.
Uh, uh, people
They were
was
both
like,
weird. I don't want to
yeah,
say like not
the
weird bad, but they were both very
yeah,
different. They both stood
and
out.
it was both was super iconic people, and they had like
Hmm.
this rivalry, even though that to me they wasn't in the same lane when it comes to Prince was actually
Hmm.
Prince was actually producing, actually
Hmm.
played all the instruments,
Hmm.
had other band. Prince has so much freaking music. His
Hmm.
life was music. Like
And I don't want to say like this, but Prince felt more experimental and more
very,
mature.
no,
Like that's
very.
the thing about Prince, especially with him having to get the parental advisory, the whole Nikki
Hmm.
Darla situation. That's why I'm like, I never got the Prince and Michael Jackson comparisons, especially musically, because I'm like, to me, they both fill two different lanes,
It's
especially when like
Kendrick and Drake, V.
yeah, I know that, which is why they kept using the flips, which the flips were
Yeah,
really good during the beef, even
yeah.
though some people said that they were bad. I'm like, the flips were really good in general. But yeah, I'm like, I never got the comparisons. Like aesthetically, like I could get that, but most of the time when I would see people compare them, it would be musically. And I'm like, listen to Purple Rain back then versus like a Thriller or a Bad. I'm like, these sound too different for me to even compare these two things. Like Prince isn't trying to go the pop route, the super R&B out route. Like Michael Jackson is that. It's like I don't know. Like to me, Prince is like, what's the best way I could say this? If I had to compare the two, and I really don't like to do this, Prince is the more JPEG Mafia, and Michael Jackson is the more Drake. If I had to compare it into
Hmm.
nowadays times, because it's like JPEG Mafia is going for these different sounds. He's not trying to fit into the norm of things like that, and it's a bit more experimental. Like I said, while not saying that Michael Jackson cops out or anything like that, but he's going for a more accessible sound.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's just me though. But
Hmm.
yeah, musicology. Like I said, overall, really enjoyed this album. I want to dig more into Prince's discography. Shout out to my boy RB Reyes. He did give me some recommendations, so I will be listening to more Prince. He's given
Yeah.
me some more albums. Damn the DM, so I had to go to him and I will listen to
Yeah.
him this.
He sent me some stuff too. Not one album I was gonna talk about, but I didn't get to finish. I'm like halfway through. It's Eric Robertson. I got to
Hmm.
return back to that joint. But he sent me some stuff. Like, oh yeah, you'll like this stuff right here. Because I was like, oh, I know all this. I just don't know this. Who is
Hmm.
this? But I didn't get to finish it. So I'm like, cause you know me, bro, with music. But I went through a whole Prince phase, like growing up, bro. My
Hmm.
not my uncle, my granddad, and my freaking grandma loved Prince. I would tell you a
Hmm.
story about when my granny met Prince, bro.
It sounds familiar, but I'm not sure.
Bro, Prince came to like my family like party or something like that,
Hmm.
and bro, my granny saw that man. Prince was like, if you know the aura, like Charlamagne talking about how when he met Prince, it felt like he floated to him, like he was floating. But like, when you meet somebody, some people kind of want to be like, all right, I don't want to act too wild. My granny, bro, she don't
So
care.
basically, so basically,
She
like
was,
Riley off of the Boondocks.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah, I run this block. So if you need anything, let me know. But I ain't on your nuts though.
hey, they say my granny like hugged him, her pretty much like was picking. She loved Prince, bro. Like some of the records I have was from her collection. I
Hmm.
think it's a few Prince records in there, but nah, bro, she loved that man, bro.
Hey B, where you live at again, B? Where you live at?
What are you talking about, man? But nah, man, that's dope. B, listen to musicology, man. I need to go back to that. It's been, bro. It's so much Prince, bro.
Yeah,
It's
there's
so
a lot of
much,
Prince. See, that's what
so
makes
much,
it a bit more daunting for me to get into
bro.
Prince versus like a Michael Jackson. There's way less music to go into, and you kind of know the albums to go to. With Prince, it's like I feel like there's different sections probably of the fandom where it's like, oh, I like
Yeah,
this side of Prince, so you need to listen to these albums. Oh, no, 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 this side of Prince right here, it got these albums. You need to
it's
listen to these right here.
Prince is so crazy. Like it's so wide variety of like Michael has to me. Michael has he has his albums before he became Michael. He was like
Hmm.
having albums like Ben when he was a kid.
Hmm.
But if you look at like the essentials and Michael's, it's like four. It's like four albums to me.
Hmm.
But with Prince, it's so many albums that's essentials, bro. He has at least over eight because he has so many eras. That's like these are freaking critically acclaimed albums. Eh, Like one of the best like guitarists. Like that dude's insane, bro. But yeah, let's get into my. I think this is my last album.
Also, shout out to Prince for having a good amount of references in JoJo's as well. Love the
Hey,
references of Paisley Park. I didn't know what that was. That's the
yeah, the
thing
Paisley
that
part. Yeah.
JoJo's be putting me on the music that I'd never heard of. And I looked up Paisley
Hmm.
Park because one of the stands is called that. And I'm like, what the F is a Paisley Park? Everybody, that's a Prince
Hmm.
reference. I'm like, oh, let me go research that. And I listen to the song. I'm like, oh, this makes sense with what the actual stand's ability is now. Genius. I love it. Let's keep going.
Hmm.
Sorry.
But my last album, I'm gonna shout out some recs that I'm gonna listen to. I might talk about. I forgot to listen to the rest in a while, but it's in my library. I'm gonna check that out. The
Same.
rest album.
Same.
I'm gonna check out the Code of the Friend new album. He put out an album, and I want to check out the. You gonna talk about it later, but Pierre Bourne.
Hmm.
And Duran Jones and the Indications dropped a new album. I'm ready to get to. I listened to like the first two tracks. And I'm like, oh, I can't wait to dive into that. But yeah, we're here for my last album. It's a short album. Her name is Donna Williams. I don't know if you heard of her.
Sounds
30
familiar.
minutes, 10 tracks. It's called Real Friends. And it's like in your like neo soul bag right here, bro. Uh little neo soul, it's a little modern, you know what I'm saying? I actually like this. It's cool, vibey, something you could throw on in the background, just let it flow. She's her singing is like very soft. The vocals are like soft. She has a few collaborators on here, a few male collaborators, and they have like they whole like dynamic. I like that. Production was cool. There was one track over here that was kind of like not neo soulish. It's a little more high tempo, not really too mellow. That was cool, but I liked it. Like it flowed. This whole project flowed to me. Except for that one track, it kind of was like, huh? And then it kind of get back down. Cause I was
Mm-hmm.
like, this on here? I think it's like the third track. It kind of really threw me off. Even though it's early, so it was early in the project.
Mm-hmm.
But overall, man, I never heard of her. Sometimes I go into like new releases and I like see a cover and I'm like, this look pretty cool. Let me check it out. And her album was I don't want to really like bring this up, but she got a little nip showing on the cover. I don't know if you're looking it up,
Oh
B.
yeah,
If you,
they poking out right now.
I'm
They
like,
poking. You trying to have a what they call it, an
BB,
areola off, a
hey
Yola
B,
off?
I ain't saying that's what got my attention, but the music is good. I like the music, you know what I'm
Hey
saying?
B, it definitely didn't deter you away from listening to the
Yeah.
music. Hey.
But yeah, I think my favorite track on here was it. Dang, I didn't favorite it. God dang it. I hate when I don't do that. Because
Mhm.
I just play it. I don't really look at the track list to like the
Yeah.
second listen. But yeah, it was one track on here I really like. F.
Hmm.
Can't remember it. But anyways, Dana Williams, Real Friends, man. You guys want to check out, like, I don't know if she's a newer artist, but if something, people not talking about this on the timeline. So much music comes out, bro, that
Hmm.
it get lost. It get lost. And anybody listening to this, y'all like y'all some neo soul, some people that kind of want to bring it back. She's
Hmm.
she's pretty dope, man. It's not. I wouldn't say when you go into this, don't be thinking you finna listen to like no freaking D'Angelo, no Erykah
Or
Badu, no
no,
Maxwell, or nothing
Floetry
like
and
that.
something
Don't
like that.
yeah,
Yeah,
don't go
yeah,
into the
yeah, yeah,
floetry.
yeah.
Don't think nah.
It's the
It's a
more
little
new neo
yeah,
soul.
yeah, yeah.
Excuse
It's
me.
like the new neo soul. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Which shout out to Alex Isley. She recently had a Tiny Desk. I haven't listened to
oh,
it
she
yet, but
did.
I've seen some of the snippets of it and I'm like, ooh, this sounds
I
good.
already know it's gonna be fire, bro. She's dope. Yeah. But yeah, B, what you got, man? I know you got a few more things.
Yeah, B. So speaking of like so much music comes out and it just gets lost within the shuffle and things like that, B.
Hmm.
B, put your rain jacket on. It's time for us to go into the hazardous wastelands of what's happening this week. Kanye West and Diddy's son came out with an album.
Oh my God.
Listen to it because B, someone has to report on this on the show, right? And I will be the one person to sacrifice my free time to do this, right? The album is called Never Stop. Obviously we know that Kanye is a big supporter of Diddy being freed and that Diddy did nothing wrong, and obviously is Diddy's son. So yeah, King Combs. B, when I tell you that the worst part of this album was King Combs himself.
Not
B,
yay?
so going into the album, I see that it's Ye and him. I'm like, oh God. I'm like, not another collab project. I was surprised. Ye is producing on here.
Okay.
He has one feature on here where he's actually rapping. But B, I'm not gonna lie. I remember us having talks about this. Kanye might have one more classic in him. I
When it comes to the
agree with you
production.
fully. I'm like, okay, he's producing this. I'm like, the production is actually pretty good on here. There was like one or two songs I was like, eh. But overall, I'm like, production is really good. It's the best part of this album, easily. Kanye still has some brain cells left in there after the whole Double H situation happening. King
Mm.
Combs, you wasted some really good Kanye beats, and I can never forgive you for that. Some of the rapping on here was just so horrible. He has no presence at all. And dare I say it, be Kanye's verse was the best verse on this whole project.
No way, bro. You make
B, I
a
never thought I
incoherent,
would say that.
uncoherent, whatever how you want to say it. Kanye West. No
B,
way.
I'm like, how does Kanye have the best verse on this project? I'm like, Kanye is washed now, rapping wise. How does he have the best? I'm like, nah, bro. Like you get banned to the shadow realm for that, King Combs. Never again. Do not pick up a mic. Never go near a mic. Don't even go in the courtroom because if you go in the courtroom and you play this, they might just charge Diddy on every single charge that's in the book. God dang, guilty.
Hey, hey, he in the courtroom, but look, you said that remind me of on the Joe Budden podcast they had Young Berg on, right? And Young Berg, they was asking him something about like Diddy, and he was like, "Yo, the wildest thing he said to me, he was like, yo, me and Christian, what's his name, Christian, well, what's his name, King
King
Combs.
Combs.
We
Hmm.
walked in, to the party, and Diddy was like, hey man, he was like, he told Diddy like, yo man, I've been working for the music with, me, we got some stuff. He was like, man, f that nigga, man, I'm talking about the music with me. He's like, no, yo, bro, you need to work with me. F him.
Go,
Yo, oh, hey,
go.
you like, yo, your dad don't even trust you, man. Your dad don't even care about your
Facts.
music career, bro. You a Nepo baby, what they call it,
A
Nepo,
nepo
Nepo. You a
baby.
Nepo
Uh-huh.
baby. I almost said a nympho baby because he one of
Oh,
those too. You know what I'm saying?
probably was. Hey, he had that bed in the basketball court. You don't think
But
his
they
son
said,
frequented that?
B, I know we can't be talking about this, but bro, they say the boy Diddy would be at freaking meetings getting hand jobs, bro. Come on, bro. Like in the middle of a meeting. So when we talk about the splits, yeah,
Hey, 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 calm that
yeah,
down there.
yeah, when we talk about the splits here, you know what I'm saying?
Hey, what did they call it back then during the earlier days of streaming? Support, yeah, support your husband under the desk or whatever. Give
Yeah,
him some desk support, whatever it's called. That's what Diddy was getting early on. Hey, B, Diddy was an innovator.
but
I'm telling
innovation, B, I told you that
you.
we won't stop.
Hey, that's what it says on the album too. Bad boys worldwide never stop.
Never
No.
stop, B. Oh my God. But
Oh
nah, bro.
man.
Hey, like I said, you are the foot on the grounds reporter. You
Hmm.
get out there,
Hmm.
rain, sleet, or snow, and you out there doing your reporting, listening to the tunes. And like I told you, you out there in the trash, B, in the landfill, searching for the music. Because, bro, I'm telling you, when we talk about how the landscape of music is, bro, it's so
Hmm.
much trash. You
Yeah,
gotta
very.
dig to find the gold, bro. You gotta dig. I'm telling you.
Facts.
It's
Oh.
like you gotta go to the places that you know that's gonna be good. Like even though
Hmm.
we talk about like, hey man, he put out the same thing, but I know it's gonna be good. This is something
Hmm.
I'm not, I know it's not trash,
Hmm.
but
What I listen to is straight trash.
what
Literally,
you
the
got
beats are the
next,
best
B?
thing. B, we gotta talk about it. That new Don Toliver song,
Oh yeah, I
FWU.
forgot.
That
That
mustard
joint
production.
hard.
Was it? I think the album is gonna be called like
Um,
Gemini Season. Don
uh-huh.
Toliver was flowing on that bad boy.
You know
Yes,
he gonna have
sir.
Kendrick on there, bro. Gemini
Hey,
season?
that's a hey B. That's the new YG feature. Hey, I gave you a mustard B. It's like it
Get that
comes with the
Kendrick.
Kendrick feature now.
You know what I'm
It's like,
saying?
hey, Kendrick's my new YG. Even though
Hey,
YG's newest single ain't made no type of buzz or nothing, even though
the
he's just
Hollywood
Joey
joint, my
on it.
girl like that song. She be playing.
Yeah, it's made no type of buzz. I've only seen it on TikTok, and it's because he said something about Joey, and obviously he has some girl dancing in the forefront of the
Mm.
song. But going back to Don Toliver's song, the song is Heat. It's definitely something different that Don Toliver. It's very familiar, but it's unfamiliar territory that Don
Mm.
Toliver usually goes in with this type of production. I really liked his album Hardstone Psycho last year, and him coming out with this right here. Don Toliver's just been on a little run where I'm like, he's a more consistent Travis. Like he's not trying to blow you away with the aesthetic or the world. Like Don Toliver, he gets in the bag and he just stays in that bag for that album. And he just keeps going. Like it's like he never stops.
Is Don Toliver a producer? Do he make beats or he's just more like,
I don't think so. I think he's more
the,
the singer slash
mm,
crooner.
writer and stuff? Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know if he ever got into his, because I know a lot of people was really high on his last album. So I don't know if he actually dived into the production, but I'm pretty sure
Mhm.
he has a lot to do with the direction and the landscaping of the album. So, you know, the world he
Let me look
builds.
at.
But this song is dope. And I like Donnie Womack from Don Toliver. Like that's like the only
Mhm.
project I actually like listen to from him. And this right here, it kind of give you that I don't want to say rage sound a little bit, but it kind of made me feel that way as well. And DJ Mustard, like you say when he works with artists that's kind of not West Coast, he kind of give them a
Mhm.
different bag. And like this right here, I liked it. I was like, hey, this little bouncy right here. Hold up, I'm
Mhm.
trying to get them dance moves like Nun guy. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to do that dance move. You know what I mean? But I don't know what he's doing. He's so
Hey, B, I was hitting that while I was driving, B. Hey, no hands on the wheel, B. I got a jam.
I'm about to switch it up, though. I'm gonna do something like this. I don't
Boy got the Carlton. That's the Carlton, B. Hey, well, overall, I really enjoyed the song. I do like Don Toliver when he's on these more fun like tracks. Don Toliver is just an artist that I've really been really enjoying ever since his debut or his big old like commercial like show out with Astro World and his surprise feature on there. So I've been following his career since and I've been really enjoying what he's been putting out. And this song does not fail to exceed my expectations on what he's going to put out. But yeah, My next thing, disappointing thing. Pierre Bourne, Made in Paris. This is Pierre Bourne's first album in a few years. He's a little bit quiet. This album was supposed to come out last year, and honestly, I don't know what the whole pushback was for it not coming out last year because this is standard Pierre. Dare I say it, Lil Tecca has been coming out with more consistent and better albums than Pierre has with his last two albums. The last good album that Pierre put out was Life of Pierre 5. After that, he put out that Diary album or whatever it's called, the movie. Listen to
Mhm.
that. Very boring. Has some cool tracks on there. Pierre Bourne's always going to get you at least one or two tracks off the album. And sadly, I had to say the same for Made in Paris. Pierre has definitely not been trying to come outside. That's the problem right now. Made in Paris, it's literally like I think the whole album was made in Paris. That's the only thing. Like it had a few like French slash Paris like sounds that are familiar for everybody, but besides that, all the titling of the album songs is like in French or whatever.
Right.
Nothing except for just being honest, JBH, which is the best song on the album. I listened to this album twice the day it came
Mhm.
out. I thought I was missing something. I'm like, Pierre, did you just disappoint me with this? And you had me waiting on this album right here? And I went online and everybody's like, yeah, Pierre missed with this one. I'm like, okay, God. I was like, okay, maybe I was tripping. I'm like, because there was a few songs I like thoroughly enjoyed that I know I could go back to. Like, this isn't a bad album. I like this album more than the last album he came out with, the movie, but
Mhm.
I'm just like, just did not, it didn't do it for me. And the worst part is Lil Tecca took his formula and did it better. Lil Tecca's on a better run than Pierre. And I'm like, I hate saying that out loud. Because Lil Tecca definitely took that Life of Pierre formula, having the songs mix and go into each other, kind of like a playlist type situation. Tecca has been on a run. Pierre, what the F are you doing? This is supposed to be your bag, your lane. And look, Pierre gives the vibes. This one,
Mhm.
it just felt like he wasn't all the way there. Like, and my thing is this: Pierre's gonna give you the same subject matter, the same type of like things that he's talking about all the
Mhm.
time. But it's about them standout tracks. Life of Pierre 4 and 5, bunch of standout tracks. This one right here, it does all sound
B.
samey.
I
Oh,
don't want to be super patriotic, but he made it over there with those wee folk, man. Come your boy back, come over back over here to the States, go back to the South where you from and get that seasoning.
mm,
You know what I'm saying? You know when Granny called on Life and
mm.
Pierre. Hey, when she called, I need a new car, baby. You know what I mean? Hey,
Exactly.
you know what I'm
She trying to
saying?
switch lanes.
You know what I
She
mean? Come
doing
on,
switching
bro.
lanes on here. That's the problem with this.
Bro
Oh,
over
Pierre,
there
you
eating,
disappointed me.
eating freaking unseasoned fries. What all they
Facts.
got over
Over
there
there,
in Paris, bro?
croissants.
Croissant, bro. Wee wee. Come on, get out of here.
Yeah, wee. Yeah, I don't know about this one, but this was a no. Next project I have. Everyone won't like this, but a lot will. This is by Hashi Senjoo. This is actually a Dallas native, and this is someone I've been following on TikTok. He had a viral song going. He even had some people remix it, like Paul Wall, and I think some other people. I forgot who, but finally came out with his debut project. Everyone won't like this, but a lot will. And it's very reminiscent of that early Houston sound, like the whole like 90s slash early 2000s sound of Houston, but it also has some of that Dallas flavor into it, like a Big Tuck or a Tum Tum and things like
Hold on,
that.
what this
And just
nigga
going
name
over
is?
this
Excuse my
project,
French.
Hashi
How you
Hashi
spell it?
Senju Hashi space Senjoo. When you look at the cover, it's very Houston esque with the whole candy pane car or whatever, him with the whole grill showing and things like that. And like I said, I've been following him since TikTok. But to see this album and hear it come out, I'm like, all right, you had a good amount of personality. I like some of the songs. It's very reminiscent to an earlier version of what we was getting from Southern hip hop, especially in the South when it comes to Louisiana. A bit of Louisiana, like the song Nola, I believe. There's a song on here called Nola, I think, and really mostly the Houston sound itself. And Paul Wall and Lil Kiki gave a very fire feature verse on here as well.
Slab.
I
He
enjoyed this
got he
project
got Charlie
overall.
Boy on here. Remember Charlie Boy?
Hmm.
I look
Yeah. Oh yeah.
good.
Come on.
Bumping
Come on. You know
grills.
I yeah. Come on. But yeah. The best song that people will probably know on here that went viral on TikTok was "I Done Swung." That's the song that most people know. But yeah, going over this whole project right here, I thoroughly enjoyed it. I'm like, all right. I'm like, you gave me a good amount of personality. You gave me some songs that I could really go back to and I could jam, and it puts me in that mood of like back then, even though I was a kid back then. But still, it just puts me in that mood. And last project, shout out to the Potty Mouth Boys. Shout out to Dom. Shout out to Four. I listened to Dom's newest project, a collection of songs because I'm Manic too. Now I know he tweeted us and he said, "Will the BBC review this?" We haven't really been locking in reviews recently, but I was like, you know what? I
Mm-mm.
still want to give my boy Dom a spin. It's 26 songs. It's an hour and 5 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Dom, I'm always gonna be honest on here. Dom's my guy. I enjoy this project, but also I get that you're playing the game. You had a lot of these songs. You wanted to put them all out on the project. Cool. You know, Dom is usually going to show his influences. He's in his Drake bag in a few of these. And I'm like, okay, I really enjoy you when you're in your Drake bag. But there were some songs on here where I'm just like, and it's really in the like the later half where I'm just like, all right,
Mm-hmm.
these are kind of like mashing together and they're not really being distinctive from each other. It's
Mm-hmm.
another I am music situation where it's like some of these songs aren't too distinctive enough for you to put them on here versus a if you would have made like a 2.5 EP, I would have been cool with that. But I get it though, because sometimes when you have an idea, you want to put that song out, and sometimes you got to say what you got to say on this track specifically, but you want to say the same thing but differently on a different track. I get it, but there was a good amount of stuff on here that I did like, so I'm not thinking that this is a bad project. But I will say some of the songs, especially with it being this long of a list and this many tracks, some songs meshed together and blended in with me to where I'm just like, am I on the same song? Did I change songs? Like they just felt very samey to me. But I really liked like the first third of this project. I'm like, all right,
Mm-hmm.
cool. And I kind of liked a good amount of the second third. I mean, the third of the project. I know that sounds confusing. Some of the second third is where I got a bit iffy and choppy on because I'm like, all right, I like this. I don't like this. I like this. I don't like this.
Mm-hmm.
And there was one song on here. He gave me huge Kid Cudi vibes. It's the Noticing song, track
Mm-hmm.
24. And I said it on Twitter this weekend. I'm like, listening to Dom separately and listening to Four separately, but them two doing a podcast, I'm like, oh yeah, how come they don't have a project together? But listening to them separately, I'm like, all right, this makes sense why they don't have a project together because they sound too like different compared to what they usually do based
Mm-hmm.
off of what I've heard. But them coming together, I'm like, all right, I actually really enjoy this. One song, I think tweeted it this weekend. I did 26. I'm like, this gave me super heavy 808s and Heartbreaks vibes with
Mm-hmm.
Kid Cudi and Kanye West. I'm like, I really enjoy when these two get together because it's something very different than what Don usually does when he's doing his little uh Drake rapidy rap thing. You get what I'm saying? Where he does his little Drake inspired
Mm-hmm.
rap flow, even though that's now becoming like Dom's thing. So at some point I'm glad to stop saying that he sounds or is inspired by Drake because he's doing it a good amount to where I'm just like, okay, that's a redundant point of me saying that. But overall, I kind of like the project. It gave me the I am music vibes where it's like I'm picking and choosing what songs I like and what songs I want to go back to. And basically, all the songs that I like, I'm going to go back to those versus the ones I didn't like. I'm like, I could probably do without because they didn't stand out compared to the better songs that you had on the project itself.
Mm-hmm.
But a collection of songs, because I'm Manic too, I believe they made this on stream. I'm not sure. I could be wrong on this, B, right?
Not,
Did they
not.
make?
I don't think this one they made on stream. This was because I remember I popped into one of their streams I think it was like a week or so ago, and it's just a collection of unreleased songs. Because I actually listened to this too. I listened
Mhm.
to it, and
Oh, okay.
I echo a lot of your sentiments, bro. I just totally forgot I listened to it, but
Mhm.
not no disrespect. I just forgot to have it on my list. But I actually listened to it, and a lot of these songs do sound similar, but I know it's kind of like a playlist, like the collection of
Mhm.
songs. Because I'm Manic, there's is a lot of ideas he had. Because he
Mhm.
said this not like the album, because he's working
Yeah.
on his album.
I could
So
tell because this one
yeah,
wasn't
yeah, yeah.
as focused,
Yeah, it wasn't
even
as
though it has
focused.
similar songs within the same vein of itself,
Right, right,
which
right.
is the problem. Which now
Yeah,
that you're
yeah.
putting that into perspective, I get it now, especially with the whole Manic thing, which that's what I assumed, but
Hmm.
I wasn't sure. I'm like, I could tell these were like a bunch of songs you probably had. You just wanted to put them all out on one stream, on
That's
one
what I'm
place
saying.
to
Like
stream it.
I'm like, man, I heard him play some of these before. So then
Hmm.
when I remember what he said on the live stream he did, I was like, oh yeah, these are just songs that was unreleased. And even like the one song called Idea 26 is probably just a track he had in his band labs. You know what I'm saying? Just stuff
Hmm.
that he was working on. But I was like, Dom be talking his little trash, he do a little op talk. He talk about some people he
Uh-huh.
don't like, what I'm saying? All my ops are over 30, you know what I'm saying? They
Uh,
should start a family and all this type of stuff. I'm like, yo, Dove hilarious, bro. That's a funny dude, but he's talented. Like, yes, it
mhm.
is redundant saying he sound like Drake because he do to me. he could have his Drake isms, but he say it in his way. Like he
Mm-hmm.
makes it Dom. You know what I'm saying? Like who he is. Like he shows a lot of his who his personality is, and even like some of the stuff he says, if it's like related to a woman, he'll say it in his way, like a
Mm-hmm.
Dom way, like saying what he had this one line. I want to repeat it.
I will say
Dang,
I
I
only listened
forgot.
to this once. I did only listen to this
Yeah, I
once.
listened to it once as well, but dang, he had this one line, and I was like, this is just only this dude to say this. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
But like he has a lot of those moments in here. It's like I'm
Mhm.
saying, like yeah, he has some inspirations, but he actually makes it his own. But
Mhm.
yeah, I like most of this stuff, but a lot of it, like I said, is a collection of tracks. So it was I'm
Mhm.
not for to judge it. I didn't judge it super hard because I'm
Mhm.
waiting on him to put out the album. I know he like to tell like a story and within his project. So I think it was cool, man. I think it was all right. There's some
Yeah.
stuff on here. It was this one track I really liked. I don't know if it's gaslighting myself, but it has that. I like the melody he had on that. Oh, let me play it real quick in my head.
I
Let me
think
see.
Gaslight Myself, I didn't expect that to be the closing track. But I will say I did like Tim Get the Monies on here more than I did on
Yeah,
Dom's
more.
last
Yeah,
project. And I thought I'd say that even though this project had a lot more thrown out and there was
yeah.
less songs on here that I liked in his last project, but because he
Mm,
had such a higher batting range on this project, I like this project more than his last project because like I say, he had more stuff for me to choose from that okay, I don't like this. I like this. I don't like this, but I like this.
hmm
You get what I'm
But
saying?
nah.
Like
Yeah,
at
yeah,
least that
yeah.
last project, the last half of it, I'm like, but this one,
hmm
I'm like, I'm like, I'm here and there. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But yeah, I could definitely tell like he should have put Street Sweeper on this because after I listened to Gaslight Myself, Street Sweeper came on. I'm like, oh, he finally put it on a project. But it was
hmm
a Spotify algorithm recommended thing. And I'm like, Dom, you should have put this on here as a bonus track or something. I
He,
really do enjoy that track. It's a very fun track. But I get it doesn't kind of fit the vibe of the actual album
right,
right
right,
here. But
right. Because he's
so yeah.
bouncing towards like inspirational stuff of like what he want, and then also have like a lot of like tracks about like women and stuff as well on here. You
Mhm.
know what I'm saying? Dang, it's this one line he
But
said. I'm like,
he also has the crooning on here. There was one
oh
song
yeah,
he
yeah,
was
yeah.
super
He's
auto
cool.
tuned out and he was super crooning. I'm like,
It's not I lust.
um, I, nah, I think it was like early on in the project. I'm like, was it friends or
Yeah.
effing or was it? I don't know. I don't remember which. Like I said, I've only heard this one time, and you could obviously tell we listened to a good amount of music over the week.
Right,
So
right.
I don't remember which song it was, but I was like, I don't know about this one.
Oh,
Dom. I'm like,
he
this
gonna
is,
give you some crooning, bro.
oh
You know what I
yeah, yeah, and
mean?
it was like
He
super
got to
auto
get his
tuned out.
young
I'm like,
boy. He got this one
ah.
dude, one of they PMs. I think his name Giz. He be on there doing his little.
Gizzy or
Yeah,
Tim
yeah,
get the money. It's one of them two.
yeah.
One of them
Gizzy
sounds like
be.
Giveon with auto tune. I forgot which
No,
one
I
it
think
was.
Gizzy the one. He has more of a higher pitched voice. Like he be
Uh-huh.
sounding like. I think you would like a good of a little amount of his stuff because I when he did the whole like when I was on there when I did the verses with him.
Yeah,
He
the
make
band lab
some stuff.
versus.
Yeah, he'll like some of the melodies. Like he do some of the melodies you will like.
He's the
I think
rapping
you'll like
one.
his stuff.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Gizzy's the
he
rap.
raps, but he
Yeah,
be
Gizzy's the
singing and stuff.
rapper.
He
Uh-huh.
yeah, but like he's a light skinned kid. I think he's I don't
Yeah,
know
because
what.
he's the one that actually made the music video. And
No
y'all
no
was
no
watching the
no
video.
no 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 no. That's not him. That's Pids. I'm talking like
Oh,
that's
Pity.
Pids.
That's Pity.
Pity,
I'm
yeah,
tripping.
it's
Yeah,
Pity,
yeah.
yeah.
Okay, yeah, yeah,
Pity
yeah.
is the
D
one that be
Pity.
rapping, like Pity,
Yeah,
Pity, yeah. The
that's what I'm
PMs, bro,
thinking
they got
of.
some crazy lore, bro. When I tap in,
Yeah.
I'll be looking and I'll
Then they
come
got
out,
that
but I
little
look, I'm
O
like,
with the
they
slash in
wild.
the middle of it.
Yeah. They
I'm
wild
like,
boys,
what does
bro.
this mean?
They be over here watching our stuff, bro. They be in the
Yeah,
comments, especially Pity. He be wilding, bro. He be commenting
yeah.
and tell us to change our name to put the N in the B.
Put the and in there, like, no, B,
Yeah.
B,
Yeah.
C.
But yeah, they hilarious. But now, yeah, I only listened to this once, man. So it's just like,
Mhm.
my thoughts. And I listened to it this
Yeah.
morning actually. Just this is the first thing I think I listened to. Yeah.
Yeah. I listened to half of this project in the headphones, another half in the car.
Okay.
And it's just funny, especially watching Potty Mouth's video, Dom saying, y'all making headphone music. Y'all need to stop that. I'm like, I do agree with him on
Yeah.
that. But some of this I did listen to the headphones. Not saying this is meant for headphones, but I did. It's funny he said that, but I listened to most of this album in the headphones.
Mhm.
Well, I did listen to some of it in the car. I'm like, all right, this is jamming. Like this is bumping. Even though it was bumping
Yeah.
in the headphones too. But yeah. B, that's about it for what I've been jamming this week. You already done. So let us know
Yeah.
what y'all been jamming down in the comment section down below. Let's
I
go
did
ahead and
that
get into
twice in a row, B. I forgot an album that I listened to. Remember you did it with Luca, the Luca album.
oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah,
I listened to
yeah.
that twice, and then I didn't talk about it. And you were like, you sure you didn't want to talk? And then you brought it up. I'm like, oh yeah, I did listen to that.
Yeah.
Bro, I listened like, bro, it just I don't know why I forgot I listened to Dom album this morning.
Yeah, my
But
thing
yeah,
is if it's not in my little music board thing, which I use to reference back to, then I forget that I listened to it. But I have my Spotify open because I was like, I
I
gotta remember to talk about this Dom
yeah
since I
I
did
use
listen
my
to it.
library, but I didn't have it. It has all the stuff I uploaded this week in my library. But if I go to yesterday, Dumb albums in yesterday, and I ain't go all the way up. So he's what I added
Mm.
yesterday. You know what I mean? So
Mm-hmm.
so but yeah,
Yeah.
shout out to
Let us
Dumb.
know what yeah, shout out to Dom, shout out to Potty Mouth, and shout out to Tim Get the Money for everybody else that's on Dom. Diamonds Prince, which I don't know who that is. But
That's
yeah,
one of the
let us know
guys.
what
He a
y'all
PM too, bro.
is he? I don't
I
I
think so,
maybe it's because
bro.
I don't recognize their Twitter names. Well, I
Hey,
don't
hold on.
recognize Diamonds Prince Twitter name.
Hmm.
But yeah. Shout out to the whole community over there. But let us know what y'all been jamming down in the comment section down below.
Man, shout out to Beyond Beats and Culture